If Dustin Poirier gets the job done against Max Holloway, he should not retire. Let me explain. Look, for the first time in the lightweight division's history, Dustin Poirier finally has a chance of relinquishing gold. I'm not talking about no interim belt. I'm not talking about getting a few more. I'm talking about having the gold strap put around his waist by Dana White. You might be thinking, Malik, how is that going to make sense, mate? I'll explain why. We'll explain how. So look, we've got Poirier versus Holloway 3 taking place, and Poirier has announced that this is his last fight. Now, if UFC 317 Topuria versus Charles Oliveira goes in favor of Topuria, he wins by, let's say, vicious KO because Charles's chin is very questionable, then what does that mean? Poirier is a bigger man than Topuria, right? Poirier does have quite a bit of power in his hands. We know that. He's cracked McGregor before, he's cracked Chandler, he's cracked Oliveira. He has power. So why not make Dustin versus Topuria for a future matchup, I don't know, UFC 321 or something. Yeah, just throwing a random number out there. We've got the Diamond potentially going out on his maybe last 2 years left of fighting, because he could definitely fight for another 1-2 years, to finally relinquish gold, to finally get the one thing he's been chasing for after so many years. Because we saw how his fight went with Khabib. He had Khabib in a choke, and Khabib escaped. He lost in 2019 to, a future GOAT, or he is a GOAT in Khabib Nurmagomedov. And he lost to Charles Oliveira, another grappler, and to Islam Makhachev, who is the greatest lightweight to ever exist in the history of the sport. So he's lost to three grapplers for championship bouts. If Topuria gets the job done against Oliveira, we might be able to see Dustin finally win gold. We might finally, for all the Dustin Poirier fanboys out there, yeah, Dustin Poirier, whatever you want to call him. I know Colby's got his own names for him. Connor calls him P-head. I don't have anything bad to say about Dustin. I think he's a great fella. Love as cauliflower is. He could actually be a champion, man. I know there's going to be fanboys out there that would be ecstatic and screaming and in disbelief, and may even start crying, man. I'm telling you, mate. They might actually start crying if Dustin gets the job done. So, taking all things into consideration, looking at his record as well, yeah. Of course, you look at his record and see so many losses, 9 times he's lost. He's been in the UFC for quite a while. He lost to McGregor, avenged his losses twice. Arguably the third victory is a bit questionable as a doctor stoppage, but he's had some banger of a fights. So he lost to Khabib September 2019. He lost again to Poirier, championship bout 2021. Lost to Gaethje. I mean, Gaethje did land, some may say, a fluke head kick, and it worked. He beat Benoit Saint Denis in pretty devastating fashion. And then he lost to Makhachev in an absolute 5-round war. So you can't say Poirier is actually washed. He took Islam to deep waters, man. Though Islam was up on the scorecards, you look at Islam's wins, he's submitting people first, second round easily. So to go 5 rounds with Islam and then to finally get submitted, it's still a bit of an achievement in itself, considering how monstrous Makhachev is in that division. So I don't think we should be writing him off. For the casual fans, you can't be writing him off on this 30-9 record. But to be honest, the people that will probably be watching this video aren't casuals, so you already know what I'm talking about. You already know that Dustin is a solid fighter. So obviously he's nearing the end of his career, 36 years old. I still believe, I don't really see him, I haven't seen him slow down. I haven't seen him give CTE vibes, or, his power's gone or his IQ is lacking. I think he's still got it. So if I'm Dana, I could really market this fight really well, because I'm not sure about Makhachev, coming back down to lightweight and trying to get that belt again. I would look to push to make this fight happen. If Charles Oliveira loses to Ilya, and I'm Dana, I'd probably have a word with Poirier and say, look, mate, you have a chance at achieving the one thing you've always wanted to achieve in this sport, and that's gold. And now is the perfect time for you to go ahead and potentially win. So Max Holloway versus Poirier 3 is a very, very interesting fight. Max Holloway is now a 155er. He's fought in this division now, and it's interesting to see because I'm not going to write Holloway off either. I'm not going to say he's going to go out easily. Is he? Probably isn't. But the last time they fought, the difference was the power. 155 just has a lot more power than 145, man. Bar to Poirier, excluding to Poirier, it's really hard to come up to 155 and think you can stand and bang with these guys, especially when someone like Dustin already walks at insane weight. I think he walks out like 185, 190. So when he's walking around at such a high weight and he's coming back down to 155, he can crack, man. When he lands, he can really hurt you. And of course, we've seen Max Holloway get viciously knocked out by Ilia Taptoro. So it's interesting to see how Max Holloway will react to the punches landed by Dustin Poirier. Nonetheless, we've got a banger of a fight on our hands. Fight's taking place, I think, in a week's time? No, next month. So the outcome of this fight is interesting. The outcome of Poirier versus Oliveira is also interesting as well. If you ask me, it's really hard for me to root against Max. I love Max, but I also do like Poirier a lot too. But if you ask me who I want to win between Poirier and Charles, I would say I want Charles to win, just because I'm tired of the narrative that Islam is scared and that he's moved up to 170 because he wants to avoid a powerhouse of the Spaniard or Georgian that's in Ilia Poirier. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of crap. It doesn't exist. Islam is probably not scared of anyone. If anything, JDM is a much harder fight than Ilia is. And if you're an intelligent MMA fan, you'd understand that if Islam fought Ilia again and he won, which he probably will, let's be honest, he'll be called out for fighting another featherweight as his title defense. He's already been berated for fighting Volkanovski twice. Fans love to mock Islam. So it doesn't do much for his legacy, unfortunately. Whereas if Poirier somehow secures the 155 belt and then Islam secures the 170 belt, then it would probably make sense to do one mega fight. So if you've got the former 145-pound division champ who's moved up to 155 pounds and is now a champion in that division and is looking to fight the former 155-pound champ and the new 170-pound champ, it would be a mega fight and it would sell really well. But yeah, that's a whole different topic. The main discussion of today is Mr. Max Blessed Holloway and Dustin Diamond Poirier. So here's my take on it. Argue with your mum, dad, nan, dog, cat, mouse, whoever you want to argue with, mate. I don't give a toss. Argue amongst yourselves. This is my take. Let me know down below in the comments if you agree, disagree. If you have your own takes, please let me know. If there's anything else you want to see, please comment down below. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching another Malik MMA take. Please like, comment, subscribe. It does help push the channel out. I'm still relatively new. I love watching the UFC, so all the support is much appreciated. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, wherever it is. Enjoy the sun. Take care.